last night was super fun. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. It was pure techno, and I love that it wasn't like
And you
full
went to the
on.
venue?
I love the venue. It's like, imagine like you're in a basement that's made of concrete and there's like a DJ in the center and everyone's around the DJ kind of vibe.
This
And
is my venue requirements though.
yeah, tell
We
me.
should talk about all of them and then you can talk about those requirements in relations to this venue. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Coat check needs to ideally it's free. Like I like a freestanding coat rack where I can just put shit or like if there's a good
Mm,
coat culture of like putting your coat somewhere. The bathroom situation, like enough bathrooms. I like having someone kind of regulate the bathroom line, like a
mm,
sober person employed or volunteering. The lighting, it needs to be dark on the dance floor.
yeah.
And this is like maybe a premium thing, but I like somewhere where there's free water, a comfy place to sit, and like honestly, I've seen parties give out lollipops, and I think
Mhm.
that's great.
Yeah.
And then a good accessible smoking area that has heating.
Okay, interesting. I agree with most of that, disagree with some. Code check, I feel like has to be like a employee. I don't want it to just be hang up because somebody's gonna steal your jacket. Like these people are drunk leaving the party, they're gonna take whatever they see. You know what I mean? But
When I
you're
go
not.
out, I purposely I have this shitty old ugly
Oh,
big jacket. So and it's all like I do think like that. I'm like, oh, this is the jacket where I'm like, I don't care if someone steals them.
I see.
I think
Okay.
I like nothing's in the pockets ever.
I see. I see. That makes sense. If you're willing to lose it, but then you're going to be uncomfortable in the cold. But at least you didn't lose a important jacket. But then also the bathroom situation. I don't want there to be an attendant because what if you're going in to do like a bump of something with friends or
There's cool attendance. Like the parties that are giving out lollipops are also the parties that are like, here's the space to do a bump.
I
Like
see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, I guess another thing is a good drug culture is
Yeah.
nice when they accept that people can do drugs in anywhere.
Yes, agreed. Agreed. Bathroom, I agree with you. I think there needs to be urinals, even though I understand the concept because like the club that we went to yesterday was just stalls. And it was
I
like
like that though.
but the problem is that then it takes so much longer for guys that can literally just pee and get out, you know?
Yeah, I guess there's enough people I personally, I'm just a shy peer, so I won't use the urinal anyway.
I see. I got you. I got you. What else is like a requirement? Dark, definitely. Like I don't like when there's like in a flight that I can see people next to me. I don't want to be perceived. I'm just there to dance.
That's why I
So
wear sunglasses.
yes, especially if you're like doing Molly or something. I don't want people to look at me and think like I just want to be in my own world.
You party sober, or did you party sober last night?
No, last night we took Molly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can't. Well, I do Molly like once a year, but I'm a horse.
Yeah, I we don't do it very frequently. We were just like, you know what? Valentine's Day, let's do it. It was fun.
So you only do Molly together now? That's a rule?
No, it's not a rule, and we've done it
Okay.
separately. I just prefer to do it together because I feel like the best part about Molly is coming home after. Like, not to be TMI, but you get what I'm saying? And like it's nice to
But, like,
that's the best feeling ever.
I don't have fun on Molly like that. I actually, like, I don't get the horny, like, "Oh, I wanna be touched by people." I
Yeah.
just have, like I have butterflies the whole time.
That's sweet. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Like that feeling, the bubbly feeling. But again, I would like there to be somebody I want to share that with. You know what I mean?
No, that feeling is unsettling to me. I want it to go away.
Why is it unsettling?
It just feels like when have you ever been on a swing?
Yeah.
And when you're, like, coming down on the swing and that feeling?
Oh,
It's like
that's a
that.
perfect description. That's a
And
perfect description
it's
of what it
so
feels like.
uncomfortable to me. I can't, like, it's uncomfortable. It just feels like
Oh,
discomfort.
interesting. I feel like I lean into that discomfort. And part of, as I'm sure you know, like part of taking drugs is you do have to work on your mindset. As in like you can easily shift the path of a trip based on where you want it to go. Like I've previously taken like a quarter of a thing of like a bump of Molly and I felt like I could trick my body into experiencing what that felt like, that high, and magnifying it. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Okay,
I
that's
think
fine.
it's like I'm more I think everyone has different like the way everyone metabolizes drugs is very differently,
Different.
right? So
That's
if
true. That's
like
true.
I just know I lean towards psychedelics and I know
Yes.
like a lot of people don't like the kind of cerebral psychedelic situation, but I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I
obsessed.
love it. I love it. I love it as well. Speaking of drugs, I'm curious. I wanted to ask you, like, about weed and how you started smoking weed. I'm only fascinated because you're the only person I know who can smoke as much as you do and completely be normal. Like, you're
Yes.
still functional. Because I literally will have 2 puffs and I can't do anything.
I
I
also look
become
really pretty today.
yeah, the light is, like, hitting.
I
Did you
know,
notice my new haircut?
I didn't.
Okay, I got my hair
Your hair looks no, but I feel like you've always had that mullet. It looks hot.
I thank you, Habibi. I did just get it, like, refaded or whatever, but
I feel like you should understand though, like I'm not gonna like you should always know that your default is hot. Like you are a hot guy.
Habibi, that's so sweet. Thank you.
I'm gonna
Actually,
say something mean now though.
do
I
it.
feel like I'm the
Compliment sandwich.
personality of the podcast. I'm also like
We'll
not that
let the
I'm
people decide. The people are
well,
gonna be like,
you can't
"Fine, I'll take being hot."
I
Perfect.
feel like you're like vanilla ice cream and I'm black licorice.
I'm the least vanilla. Well, I
Not
guess
in a sense that it's boring, but
yeah.
you're more palatable.
Wait, you're licorice?
Black licorice.
I like black licorice.
But you
But
like
other
weird
people
things. You know what I
other
mean?
people don't like it.
Everyone's like, "Oh, I love vanilla ice cream, vanilla ice cream."
I get
But
you,
I
I
feel like
get you.
black licorice, I'm more like polarizing. I feel like
I get you. I
you know
can
what I
see that.
mean?
I can see that, I
In
can
our
see that. You
dynamic.
kinda have, like, a sting when you first take a bite, but then you're like, "Oh, this is new and interesting."
And if you don't like the flavor, you're not gonna like the flavor, and I'm
That's
not
true.
changing.
That's true.
So
That's
let's
but wait, you
look
didn't answer my question. Okay,
wait,
wait, let's
okay.
start the podcast. Hello, everyone.
Yes.
All of People podcast. Welcome back, Khalil and Ali. We're doing mental health slash
I wanna
wellness
disclaimer
today.
this.
Go ahead.
Because I really wanna talk my shit today. I wanna be in my, like, BPD, like, era where I'm just gonna, like I'm just don't take this seriously. If you're a mentally, ill person who's
Yeah.
on the edge,
Yeah.
click
Trigger
off the
warning.
video.
Yeah.
Don't listen to our advice.
Yes.
Not mental health professionals. Everything I say that's illegal is a joke,
Yes.
and I didn't actually mean it.
Yeah. Clickbait, not clickbait. Khalil tells our audience to kill themselves.
And if you're upset,
That's
I
going
don't
to be the
care.
title of this episode.
The thing is, it's like one day, if we actually have a successful podcast, like someone's gonna be
Yeah, they're going to come for us.
people are gonna come for us, and it's like the thing is, like, you really need to understand, I will always win the I don't give a fuck war. Like, if there's
Yeah.
one thing okay, so let me start where I did DMT this past week, and like for people who don't understand, DMT is like it's a really like psychedelic drug that's like used in a lot of therapies. And go Google it. There's some real science behind this shit. So I did DMT thinking like I wanted to like self-improve. I was like, I want to be more of a patient person. I want to be more of a kind person. I want to be more of a loving person. And then I thought I would get all this like trauma that would come up and like all these things that I'd have to fix. And then literally the DMT kind of really like boosted my ego in a
Mhm.
way that it was like, why are you dehumanizing yourself, comparing yourself to this perfect person? Like, I feel like the DMT helped me realize it's like you genuinely love yourself, the good and the bad. And
What do you mean by perfect person?
like I feel like it's like I always try to be a like like I'm always hard on myself. Like if something goes wrong, it's like, oh, I shouldn't do that in the future. And
Mhm.
here is how I'm gonna not do that in the future. And it's like it is okay to adapt and learn about how to work with someone, but I think it's also okay to just admit to yourself that it's like I'm gonna make another mistake again.
Right.
Like me and you have had beef about essentially you like
And we're
you
both
think
very
you
confrontational.
yes, like, it's essentially, it always comes down to kinda me being more aggressive and abrasive,
And me
and
misunderstanding your intention.
exactly, and I feel like that is not it's we're gonna do our best to avoid it, but it's
But I
like
think it's not
I'm never gonna
avoidable.
not and
Yeah.
it's like I'm always gonna be abrasive.
And I think I like that we're able to hash it out. Like, we don't
Yes.
I'm not gonna let that build into resentment because I hate hiding how I feel about something.
Well, the thing is also, yeah, I'm the same way. I'm never lying about how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's just I mean, we're both like that, so I think we're pretty committed to solving a problem.
Yeah. I have Halloumi in my lap as an emotional support animal for today in case this episode gets too difficult.
I think
Don't
it'll
give
be
up.
positive
It'll be positive, it'll be fine. I
because
wait, I wanna go back to the DMT thing.
yes, that's what I was yeah.
How did you first of all, who told you to do it? Where did you do it? How did you do it? How is it consumed? Is it a pill? Is it a drink?
Okay, so I have a friend who has had a lot of really good experiences on DMT, and she's like constantly she's been pushing this on our friend group for a while.
Mm,
And then there is like some therapists like that she has her PhD or master's. She was like in our city. So and she's like also like kind of like a shaman. Like she sources this
mm.
DMT. Like it's really like it's ethical and it's vegan because DMT actually comes from like frogs. But, like,
Yes.
she has it sourced from something where it's like they, like, have it synthesized from, like, melatonin because apparently
Interesting.
they're very similar in structure. Um, so anyway, I did it with this therapist lady who, we, like, did, like, an intention setting thing before, and then, like, we set up the space, to, like, lay down and, like, there was soft music and soft lights, and then, like, she explained to me the whole process and, like, safety, like, "Oh, if you're feeling this way, we have this. If you're
Did
feeling
she
like
tell
this, there's a
you
bucket."
did she tell you you might shit or puke?
Yeah, so there is, like, a bucket.
Okay. Wow.
And we had, like, fruit after because she's like, "You're really gonna want some fruit after." And then so
Mm.
she explained, like, whatever, blah, 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 and she blew it up to my nose, and we did it in 3 doses.
Does food taste better on DMT
I think fruit, yeah,
specifically? Okay.
it really did hit. It
Okay.
really did hit after.
I love when food
Did
hits
it
on
taste
drugs.
better? It's, like, kind of like food hits better during Ramadan, you know?
Okay.
When you're, like,
Interesting.
really hungry and, like, you're just like, "Oh, it's so good."
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, carry on.
So, yeah, I did the DMT and, like, I was laying on the floor, and then, yeah, I was just like the first memory I had was, like, with my dad, and I feel like I kind of have maybe been villainizing my dad more often in my mind, but it was just, like I remember, like, in elementary school, we had these, like, walking days. I don't know, something about walking, and I just remember, like, we used to walk around my school, and I was like, "Oh, that was such a good
Oh,
time."
that's so
So,
cute.
it was so sweet to have, like, like, it was all very positive, and it was very much like I let go a lot of shame and a lot of guilt, and that's
About
what I
what
needed
exactly?
about not f about doing things wrong,
Oh,
about being like, "Oh, I was" 'cause I fight with my mom in the DMs of like, "Oh, I
mm.
was too mean to her there." It's like, "No, it's okay to be mean." Like, you don't have it doesn't mean you have to be mean all the time or continue being mean, but,
And also when it comes to parents, I feel like
I
people she's an adult. At
but
the end
no,
of
no,
the
no,
day.
I'm not here to discuss her actions. I'm here to talk about how I feel when I do something that
Mm,
is negative,
mhm,
where it's like, you don't have to I feel like I was crucifying myself all the time for, like, negative things. Like, being like, "No, don't do that. No, don't do that." And it's like, yeah, I
mhm.
just needed to let that go. Like, I'm trying.
Right, right.
Like, if I was my own boss, it's like, "Girl, you need to ease up."
Yeah. Honestly, that sounds like such a good experience. I'm always down to try things at least once, except maybe like heroin. But,
Yeah, needles,
then
I can't do Ozempic because I would never be able to do
nor
the
should
needle
you,
myself.
nor should you.
Whatever.
Because honestly, even with Ozempic, I feel like who knows
It's
what's
not
gonna
fun.
happen in 10 years? Like, we still don't know the long-term effects of using it for as a weight loss drug. It's supposed to
That
be
aside, like, I don't wanna be nauseous.
that yeah. And
That's not
also
fun.
and also, I don't know about you, but I love food. I think it doesn't work on people that just love food because you'll end up overeating even if you're full.
Ex has talked about this before, having, like, an obese a patient on Ozempic.
Yeah,
And it's like, 'cause
they'll
they
keep
just
eating.
keep eating, and they're
Yeah.
like and then this person came in being like, "Why am I feeling nauseous?" And tried to lie about being on Ozempic, and then he
Mm.
wasted all this time, and then figured out, "You're literally on Ozempic, like, you're a fucking idiot."
Yeah,
You're
come
like,
on.
um, I don't think it won't matter. this person is an emergency room physician, and, like, so much of what they tell me is, like, I don't think the issue sometimes with healthcare is funding. Like, the issue is always the public and the fact that they're fucking idiots. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be so honest, like, most people that follow me online, I don't like you, I don't respect you, I think you're ugly, like, I don't give a shit.
Wait,
Like,
most of the people that follow you or you follow them?
follow me.
Okay.
Maybe I follow you actually just because like, it happened, but, like, I
Okay.
really don't care, like, I don't like, honestly, I look at what people are posting, and I'm like, "How did you look at that and think that people needed to see this? Like, didn't you think it
Mm.
was ugly? Didn't you think this looked bad? Like, you have no taste. What's wrong with you?" Like,
But what if they were just trying to express themselves?
express yourself better. Be
Okay.
better. Like,
Yeah.
I really think it's like, why are people not trying to be better? Like, the tools are there, and it's like, I understand that the way people learn things differently, but the issue is it's like most of you don't seem like you have the drive to even want to learn things. Like,
Hmm.
people actively do not like when information comes towards them. They, like, want to stay in
I
ignorance.
think it's more so that they tend to like hearing the sound of their own voice, so they'll like be in echo chambers very frequently and just listen to the same thing over and over again, as opposed to like trying to get information from other sources.
And that to me is just like,
That is
I
stupid.
that is not it's not respectable, it's not interesting to me, like, you're
Mhm.
just
Yeah,
okay, like, your life is yours. I'm so down to let people live their lives and do whatever they want, but in terms of, like, what I'm gonna do, where I'm gonna, like, give my kindness to, what I'm gonna pour myself into is, like, I'm gonna be choosy. I'm very
yeah.
choosy about it, and I like, the thing is, again, I'm always gonna win the I don't give a fuck war.
Right, right, right. Yeah, but I okay, so to go back to the DMT, how would you rate it? Like, would you say it's an experience you would wanna do again? Would you recommend it to people?
I would recommend it to people because I think it's, like, a good, like, it's a good therapy, like, what I'm saying, I'm like, I want people to do it because it's like, you bitches need to be better, and, like, it's a good I think having someone handhold you through it is nice. For me personally, because I've done a lot of psychedelics before, I feel like taking a tab of acid is the same thing, but
Okay.
through a much longer period. So DMT is nice because it's like you're not strapped in for 8 hours,
Right, it never
but,
ends on
acid
acid.
is really accessible, and I
Yeah.
don't mind being strapped in for 8 hours.
Me too, especially if I plan my whole day around it. Like,
I love going to a rave on acid.
I actually love staying at home on acid. Like, literally, like,
Mhm.
painting, writing, watching music videos.
Sure.
Literally, that's so much fun. But I
Yeah,
agree. I've done it in a rave before, and
doing
it's
anything, yeah.
I wanna go back to the weeds thing now because 'cause I'm
Yes.
really curious. Like, when did you start smoking weed, and how frequently do you smoke it?
I started with edibles, and it was probably I mean, I was, like, in university. Maybe I was 21,
Okay,
I think,
okay. That was older than
and
me when you started.
yeah, because I was a really good boy.
Wow. I think I started when I was 18.
I wasn't like I didn't take a sip of alcohol until I turned 18. Like, I never really gave a shit about substances, and then all of a sudden I did when I was, like, an adult. So, yeah, I started with edibles in, Winnipeg, where I grew up, living them with my parents because like, smoking is hard living with parents.
Right.
Oh my god, I used to have so much fun because everyone in my house would fall asleep, and it'd be, like, midnight, and then I'd pop an edible, and I would just, like it would like, I don't if anyone is remembers their first highs, like, it's so I would just, like, make sure I had really good fucking food and maybe, like, playing video
Yes,
games, just hanging out in my
yes.
room, just,
I'm
like, listening to
curious,
music.
did you purposefully stay up late to do, edibles and, like, have a whole day to yourself because you're trying to avoid your family?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I know a
It's
lot
like
of people that live with their parents that will do this. They will literally flip their sleep schedule just to see them as little as possible, which is very understandable. I would do the same if I was at home.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So it's like the kitchen is, like, open, the
yeah.
living like, everything's open, you don't gotta worry about
You're
anybody.
not being perceived by your own family. You're just doing your thing, having fun.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds like such a good time.
And then
100%.
I and then I just when I moved to Vancouver I don't know how I it was definitely like a gradual thing,
Mm.
and then it's kinda like an I mean, it's literally an addiction, like, I am addicted to weed, and I'm okay with that, like, I love my addiction to weed. But I think it's like one day, it's just like I woke up and I was just, like, smoking a weed every day, like,
Do you do
I
the whole wake and bake thing? Like, you wake up and start
oh my
smoking?
god, I love it. I literally cry thinking about, like, when I was in Mexico, like, I would literally crying happy tears being like, "I'm smoking weed in the sun and eating good food," and just,
Yeah.
like I love being outside in the morning because 'cause I'm a morning person, or,
Mhm.
like, sunrise and smoking weed. Like, one time, I literally went to one of my favorite hookups was not even because of the hookup, but he lived kinda nearby me, but I live, like, below a hill, and he lived, like, up on the hill. So I, like, went to go hook up with this guy around, like, 4 in the morning, and
Mhm.
then right when I came out, I still had, like, a joint with me, and the sun was coming up, and I was, like went up to this perch and just, like, watched the sunrise and, like, smoked my little joint, and I was like, "Oh, thank God that guy got me out of bed so I could do this." Like, it was
That's
so
really
nice.
nice. That's really
Yeah.
nice. Ooh, my cat just jumped off my lap. That's so sweet. I feel like, yeah, I've had such amazing experiences on weed, but again, I don't know how you're able to. Oh, how much do you smoke? So that was my other question.
I go through 28 grams in 2 weeks.
Okay. How many joints does that make? I guess that's maybe a better question because I'm not sure what 28 grams is.
That's a I people have asked me that, I don't know, I should do that, count how many joints I smoke a day. Okay, okay, I can math it out really
Yeah,
quick.
yeah. How
1
quickly can you roll a joint?
I feel like I need to smoke a joint for every, like, 3 hours I'm awake.
Wow, a whole joint. I'm assuming like it's would you call it like a proper doobie, or do you just like have like a half a joint size, like this big?
It could vary, it could
Okay.
really vary. The grams is better. Let's say I'd be, like, happy oh, wait, I could actually like, let's say 6 joints a day.
Okay.
6,
Okay.
like, half gram joints, so they're, like, maybe, like,
Hmm.
the size of a regular sized Bic lighter.
Got you. Got you. And I'm curious, if you stop, do you feel withdrawal symptoms? Like, do you feel irritable,
Yes.
anxious?
Not anxious, I'll just feel irritable and a little nauseous.
Hmm.
But it's like it's very overcomeable.
Okay, so about mental health and wellness, I had a few things I was very curious about. Did you
Word.
ever see a psychiatrist?
Yes. That's a shady fucking question.
No, no. Well, I only asked because I saw a psychiatrist, but
Oh, maybe not a psychiatrist, but I've seen someone with a doctorate, and they were like my maybe they were a family therapist.
okay,
They had like
that's
a
different.
no,
I'm talking about someone.
I've never seen a medical
Okay.
psychiatrist, yeah.
So when I came out to my mom, she insisted I go see a psychiatrist, and we went
Yeah.
together, and it was in Jordan. And I share this because it's honestly looking back, I'm like, this is hilarious. At the time, it was not funny, but we enter his office, and everywhere you look, there are like Quran, like verses from the Quran, like on the wall. And
Word.
this is in Jordan, obviously. So then I go in first by myself into the office, and it's this crotchety old man. I forget his name. I was maybe like 19 or 20. And I sit down on the chair, and he's like, "So, like, what brings you here today?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm here because my mom wanted me to be here." And he's like, "Why'd she want you to be here?" And it's like, she thinks there's something wrong with me that's like affecting my life. And then he's like not looking at me the whole time. He's like writing things down. And then finally, he's like, "What is it exactly that she's upset about?" And then it's like that I'm gay, that I'm not attracted to women, and it's distressing her. So then he said, he drew a line, and he was like, "If this is homosexual and this is straight, where do you see yourself on the spectrum?" And I said, "Fully like gay." His
Yeah.
response was, "Oh, alhamdulillah, at least you don't show. Like, at least you're straight passing," is what he said. Like, he was like, "I would never have guessed." So he was like, "You can keep hiding it. Like, you're doing the best that you can. You're trying to make your parents proud. You need to, like, not act on it." He asked me, he was like, "Did you ever act on it?" And I lied and said no, even though I had been sucking, like, dicks left and right. And he was like, "Alhamdulillah." You know, like, it was so
Yeah.
problematic where I'm like, "Wow, you're a doctor, and you're actually, like, you're not supposed to assume I'm saying anything honestly." You know what I mean? So you
The
shouldn't
thing is
Yeah, go
But
ahead.
what you're describing, that same conversation is literally the exact same conversation I've had with my parents. So it's like you're right. It's like this is a professional and they're saying the same shit.
Yeah, it's like, what you this is so not how I would deal with, like, a traumatized gay kid. But anyway, he told me I was like the one good thing that came out of that was I
Mhm.
told him, I was like, "Listen, you and I both know this is never gonna change." And I was grateful that he was in the school of thought of, like, being gay is an affliction that is not curable, is how he thinks about it. So I was
Well,
like,
if he's a man of science, yeah, you would see that they've
y
tried and
there are men of science who think conversion is still a thing. But
but really?
I
Because it's just like you look at the results and they don't work. Like like genuinely, like I'm being
yeah,
genuinely honest.
right.
Like people
But
have tried and the results just aren't there.
right. Right,
Because
no,
otherwise, if there was, there would literally be like an FDA treatment for homosexuality because it's like they tried.
no,
They
but
could fu
the thing is, I think they view homosexuality like pedophilia, where it's like an affliction where they're like, "Don't act on it, and you'll be alright," you know? Like, they think it's
yeah.
suppressible. But which that's a whole other
The
can of
action of
worms.
but actually they do think it's like pedophilia, but it's like it's apples to oranges, right? Like it's the action of having sex with a child is very different than the action of having sex
Obviously,
with
one
a
can give consent, one can't. Yes, obviously.
No,
Oh,
I know, but it's just I just think it's like when they bring that up, it's like, how does that even make sense
yeah.
to you?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think to them, they just see it as an aversion to nature. So that's how they view pedophilia as well. But anyway, so long story short, I told him, I was like, the reason why I'm here is because I wanted to show my mom that I'm like not just being an argumentative son. I
Yeah.
want her to see we tried this and like they agree. I was like, can you please just tell my mom I'm not going to get married to a woman? And he was like, "Okay, I can do that." My mom comes in, he tells her that, and then she starts crying, and we never talk about it since. It's been what, like 8 years? We have not
Mm.
spoken about it once since then. But the good news is that she knows, you know?
Maybe that's my issue because my parents wanted me to do like something similar, like go see a conversion therapist doctor because they're like, you have to at least try, you have to at least try. And I was just like, no. Like, I told them yes, but it's like I was just doing that for my own safety, and, like, ultimately, it's like, I'm not fucking doing that. Like, you can look this up and see that it is unsafe. Like,
Right.
the information is out there. Like, I'm holding my same parents to, like, the standards I hold everyone else. Go
Yes.
be fucking literate. Like, go use your own 5 fucking senses. Like, go tap into your brain. Like,
I
just
don't
you
think
think.
yeah, I don't think it's possible. I think
No,
unfortunately
whatever.
yeah,
If
it
it's
is
not
whatever.
possible, then, like, the alternative for me is electric chair, so I'm gonna stay in the realm of that it is possible.
Yeah, because I unfortunately, I like looking back, I also didn't have to agree and go see this person. Like, I didn't have to do everything to make them happy. But you know what I mean? Like, it ended up coming out with the same outcome. So I guess you're right. Like, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. But anyway, so you said you have not had a psychiatric experience.
No, I dodged mine.
Good. Good, good, good. What's your flavor of mental illness?
Tokyo Tony.
Okay.
If like, I feel like I mean, I've compared my own mom to Tokyo Tony, but I think, like, every gay man is, like, a version of their mom. So, I also
Interesting.
feel like I see myself in Tokyo Tony, like,
Hmm.
that kind of, like, unfiltered mental illness where I'm just like, apparently being mentally ill is just saying every thought that comes to your head. That's
Yeah,
what I do.
which Khalil is the queen of, I will agree. Yeah, that's very interesting. I guess, what would mine be? I was thinking more literal mental illness. I'm an anxious person. I would say anxiety
Mm.
rules my life. Like, I'm
And that's crazy.
constantly
I don't see myself as mentally ill.
okay,
I'm not, like, very depressed. I'm not very anxious.
okay.
I'm actually, like, believe it or not, I think I'm chilling.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, that's really good.
Alhamdulillah, like
I'm still getting there. I feel like some days I'm like, we literally just watched this movie called Flow. It's about a
Mhm.
cat, and it's like an animated movie where there's not a single word, and I was crying the whole time. Tell me why. Like, literally nothing happens in this movie, but something like that shit, I don't know what it does. It like taps into some inner thing that I haven't processed and just brings it out. and I start crying. Like I think we talked about this before. I cry at a drop of a hat,
But
especially
this
when
is
it
where
comes to
I
media.
think I think mental health, I don't know, don't no one fucking cancel me for this, but I think it's just narrative. Like, I think everyone is who they are, and I also believe in astrology. So it's like, I think you're a Pisces, and, like, every Pisces is like this, like, they love love, and they're so sappy, and they're so, like, they're just
Mm,
weeping souls, and I think the problem is when people judge their experiences.
mm.
Like, I don't think my life is perfect, and I don't think I'm perfect, but it's like, I don't need to like, it doesn't matter. Like, if let's say, God forbid, the worst situation happened to me in my life, I could be sitting there and it's like, it's the story that you're telling yourself about this. If you tell yourself this is bad over and over and over, you're just gonna keep running into that
Yeah,
cycle.
absolutely,
Like,
absolutely. If
at
you're
some point,
self
you have to just be like, this is what it is. If it's bad, you just I don't know, you laugh at it, you make do. It's like you also enjoy little things, like, because 'cause I'm really happy just being in the sun,
yeah,
smoking anything.
yeah.
Fuck it, even if it's not weed, if it's a cigarette, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think to go to your point, I think self-pity is like the detriment of everyone. Like
Yes.
you should just get your shit together. But to go back to the whole astrology thing, I recently found out I actually didn't know. I asked my mom like a couple days ago. I was born at 9 a.m. So that makes me a sun, Pisces sun, a Virgo moon, which totally makes sense for me, and a Gemini ascending, which also makes sense for me. My mom is a Gemini.
Okay. Do you plan really fun dates? Like, are you an
I'm a
intricate date
planner.
planner?
I'm a
Yeah.
planner. I'm usually the one that, like, wants to make decisions, wants to pick the movie, likes to, like my favorite thing to do is to curate an experience for someone
Oh my
and watch
god,
them
I
do it.
love that.
Like, for example, if there's a movie I really liked, I would rewatch it with people over and over and over again just to see their reaction. Like, that's always been me. And I'm
Okay.
also very hard to be like, for you to introduce something to me. Like, if you're like, "Hey, I really liked this movie, you should watch it." It'll take a lot for me to be able to watch it and allow myself to like it, because there's always gonna be a part of me that's like, "This isn't something I found."
Oh.
Yeah,
I feel like for me, it's like I'll never watch it. If you tell me to watch something, I'm like never. It'll take me like a year to watch it. There'll be
fair.
like some popular. It's like sometimes I see myself as very like Gen X because there'll be some popular ass song that I like didn't like when it came out, and then 2 years later it'll pop up to me and I'll have completely forgot about it. And be like, oh, what's this song? Like, How come no one's ever told me about this before? And people are like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, that's
But I'm
hilarious.
not okay. You saying that, I really need to we need to, like, party together in New York City, like,
Yeah,
I
100%.
I love that you love curating an experience, so I can just experience
Yes,
that
yes, yes, yes,
because
yes.
I'm entertaining. I feel like
You
watching
are.
me is a joy.
Yeah. And I feel the same way about myself. I feel like both of us are really good at I also don't understand people that aren't good at curating
The
experiences.
thing is, it's like I'm not good at curating experiences, but I always like, I'm yes-anding. Like,
No,
if
exactly.
someone tells me to come to something, I'm always like, "Yes," and I, like, do my best to participate and,
Mm.
like, not be like a Debbie Downer.
Right. But then also, like, in terms of one-on-one interactions, I feel like a lot of people don't know how to organize their fun. Like, for example, again, we've discussed this before. You tell me something like, I like the color blue. I can turn that into a 4-hour conversation. And it always
Yes.
blows my mind when people just can't do that. I'm like, this is so boring. Like, how are you so boring?
But
You
then
know?
when it comes into, like, I think there's just people are fundamentally different, and it's like some people are not brain people.
Mm,
And, like, that becomes problematic when humans are very brain forward. And, like, okay, maybe your thing is you are really good at jumping high, or you're a skater, or you're like, I don't know, whatever the fuck people are good at when
yeah,
they're stupid. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, it's not like the thing is,
Sorry
like, this
to
is the
all
thing.
our skaters, jumpers, and
No, but, like, maybe you're a skater and you're smart, but the thing
yeah,
is, it's like, some people are, like smart is just, like, a category of things that one person could be good at,
yeah.
and I think the problem is that, like, I'm not value judging it. Just because I'm smarter than you doesn't mean I'm better than you.
Right.
Like,
I
it's
do
just
think
like
we need dumb people for the world to exist.
sure.
Yeah.
Like, we need people who are there's dumb doctors. There are,
Right.
like, literally savants who are,
Like,
like,
yeah,
neurosurgeons.
let's clarify that you're not talking about smart in terms of, like, education, but smart as in, like, in tune with your like, your own thinking
We're
and
using the
reflective.
definition for what it is. That's what intelligence is.
Right,
Like,
being
if the
reflective.
and another thing about me is, like, if you misinterpret what I say, that is also something that is not my problem. I will clarify, but it's like,
See,
I
I somewhat disagree with that only because I think
towards you would.
I disagree. I think when you're having a conversation with someone, if you're fully unfiltering yourself or not controlling what you're saying, it 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 shows the other person that maybe you don't really care necessarily about what they, like, mean to you. That's how they
I
might interpret
unfiltered
it.
Kate, unfiltering is, like, strategic. Like, if I'm at a funeral and I'm bored, I'm not gonna say I'm bored because 'cause I'm not an
Right,
idiot.
exactly.
Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that's
But, like,
exactly what I mean.
if
Yeah.
you ask if you look like shit, I'm gonna tell you you look like shit, but I'm not gonna tell you you look like shit if you just come in after your mom died. I'm gonna
But
tell you you
also
look like shit because it's like, we're going out and you look like shit,
but
so you
also
should
there's
know.
there's also a nice way to do it because you don't know the baggage that that person might carry. Like, that might be their 13th reason, you know? Like,
I have baggage, but if I'm looking fat in an outfit, like, that doesn't fit, it's like, this is not flattering.
but would you prefer somebody to be like, "Khalil, just letting you know, like, you look great, but that outfit is not doing it
I
for me."
prefer it straight up and quick, be like, "That looks like shit. You look like
Okay.
shit in that."
Damn. I don't like that.
And I'd be like, "Hey, you know what? Fair."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But anyway, I had more shit that I wrote down. Hold on. Oh, control. I feel like a big part of like wellness is feeling control. How do you feel
Mhm.
most in control of your life? When do you feel least in control and most in control?
Really? You think it's about control? I think control is the I feel like I've let go of control.
Mm,
I feel like I just, like, just live every day and see what comes, and I have goals that I'm trying to get to, but it's like I wanna go from here to here, but, like, I might go over here and see what's there, you might go over
mm,
there and see what's there, and then maybe I don't even wanna end up over there, so I'm more just, like I kinda treat my life like it's a TV show, and, like, I'm just, like, watching an episode every day.
interesting. Wow, that's so opposite of how I view the world because maybe are you a type A personality? Like, do you feel like
Yeah,
things
like, I'm
have to
usually is
be
that the leadership? Like, I feel like I would
yeah.
take charge in a group.
And also, like, things have to go a certain way, like your way, for it to make sense.
No, I'm very much like when I'm training people, it's like I want you to do this in a way that makes sense to you, but this is what needs to
Uh,
get done. So I'm very much like this is the final product. I don't give a shit about how you get there. Here
okay.
are the parameters.
I see.
Go do it because I understand everyone's different.
I see, I see. I guess my type A manifests in that I think like, for example, let's say I wanna get into law school. There's a path that tells me how I can get there, getting good grades, doing the LSAT, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna treat that as like that is the only way, even though conventionally speaking, that is not the only. You get what I'm saying? Like I become
Mhm.
very rigid, and it almost like let's say if any kind of obstacle comes in the way, it like completely halts my progress.
Mm.
So like that manifests in the control that I feel is when things are happening in a routine. Okay, if things are happening exactly the same way every day, I'm happy. But the second, like for
Okay, psycho.
example, yeah, like let's say for example, go to work, come home, gym, come home, eat dinner, sleep. That makes me so happy. The second somebody like messages me on that day and is like, "Hey, do you want to get dinner?" I'll want to get dinner with them, but they don't know the price I'm paying. Where inside, I'm like, this is like changing the plan that I had already envisioned for
Mm.
myself.
Mm.
You
Okay,
know?
I get that. I think I can be like that with a like a plan with a person where I'm like, I don't like if I'm being told to be at a place at a time, if it's too last minute, I hate that.
I get it.
And it's like I also don't like I mean the thing is I don't like being misled. Like I just kind of it's like I like knowing what I'm getting into, so it's like I just like I feel like I'm not wasting my time if I like didn't want to go to a thing that I thought it was going to be a different thing. So it's just like if something's gonna be a shit show, it's like, just tell me when to show up, and then it's like, then I already know it's gonna be a shit show, and then it's like, I can go along with that. But it's
Yes.
just like, I like to know. So I guess my control thing is like, I'm always asking, like, I just need to know. Like, I'm nosy. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
care about how someone's doing something, but it's like, I'm gonna ask you why.
I see. Yeah, yeah. I'm learning that about you as well, as we've discussed.
Especially, yeah.
I
Yeah, I love
that
knowing why
that
people are
that
up to
makes
things.
sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. That does clarify things about you to me as well. Um, yeah, well, how do you feel not in control? I feel like when I'm on vacation, vacation sometimes makes me feel like I'm not in control. When like nothing is the way that I'm used to. It's not my bed. It's not the food that I like to eat. As in, it's not the food that I'm making. It's like we're eating out every day. That stuff stresses me out. Like, even though I'm enjoying my time and I love vacation, I'm still carrying that weight that when I come back home, I don't feel anymore. Does that happen to you? Because you
I'm
travel a
anxious at
lot.
the beginning of vacations, mostly because it's more finances. I'm more just like, I get like stressed about money, but then I get into vacation mode so quick.
Mm, mm, mm.
No, and I'm not really like tied to like a bed, because the thing is, I mean, I haven't really had a home in a long time. So I feel like it's pretty easy for me to just be like more of a traveler. It's also just very Sagittarius. Like, I feel like I'm always gonna kind of like, I mean, my apartment actually, okay, I lied. When I like gone from my apartment, about like in a month, I'm like, oh, I kind of start missing my like my space and my
Yes,
routine.
yes, yes, yes.
But it takes a month.
Okay. Interesting, interesting. Um, do you have anything else to add on that control topic, or do you want to move on?
I don't have anything else on control.
Okay.
What kind of mental health support do you like?
Okay, so ideally, I want a therapist. Right now, I don't have one because we're moving places. So I didn't want to get one and then have to find another one when I move because they only operate within the states that
But what
they're.
kind of therapist do you like? Like, what?
I like, so my previous therapist, I think I can say her name, right? Like it's like it would be fine, like publicity for her.
No, I don't know. I mean,
Okay, fine. She was a Lebanese person, um, living in, actually she's American, but she like travels the world. So she was in South America the whole time. She was my therapist for a whole year. And I loved her style because it felt like we were friends. Like, we
okay.
were literally just talking about, like, my life, my past, but also my present and my future, and I like when we're solution oriented. Like,
Yeah.
I want to have a goal in mind, and at the time, the goal that we had set, her and I, was that I was gonna write a letter in Arabic and give it to my mom, telling her how I feel about certain things that I've never been able to do before. Mind
Mhm.
you, I ended up writing the letter, but realizing that the writing of the letter was what I needed, not so much giving it to her because I know that her reaction is not going to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Just yeah.
just basically being goal oriented with your like therapy or like wellness care. What about you?
I think it's like, I think again, this is gonna make me all sound crazy, but I had a really, really good therapist, like, initially when I first had like the beginning of my trauma in
What
Winnipeg.
is your trauma?
With like my whole like coming, like, I feel like the whole coming out identity, like fighting with my family is kind of
Yeah.
like the biggest, or like not never feeling accepted as like a gay kid, and I knew that from a very young age.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of my whole thing. But anyway, I had this really good therapist. It was like my best friend's aunt,
Mm.
and she was just like, she just really like instilled, she was always just being like, stay curious, stop having expectations. Like, anytime I would have an issue, she'd be like, you know what your problem is? It's because you thought this would happen and then it didn't.
Mm.
And it just really made me realize like the power of narrative. And then I feel like ever since that, like, I don't think I need a therapist in that same way, because it's like there's no more tools I think I can learn from a therapist. But what I do like, and what I think you can have in almost anybody, or like trusted friends or the people for it, is like, I'll tell my friends, it's like, okay, I want you to listen and not give advice. Like, Don't correct me.
Yeah.
Like I literally will preface this. It's like I'm about to go off. Shut the fuck up and just like listen and agree. Like
Right.
do
Right.
not like try to blah, blah. And then there's sometimes where I'm like, okay, no, I want your opinion. Stop me if I'm being crazy. Like tell me what you think. Tell me what I should do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Have
think
those like
it's,
two
yeah,
modes
it's
when I
important.
do need to like
Absolutely. It's important to let the other person know like what you need from them. And
yes.
it's good that you're doing that. I
And,
feel
like,
like,
the thing is some friends can't do it.
right.
Like, my friend who's a doctor, he's like, "I don't have the space." And then it's like, "Okay." And then we're like, "We're good."
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because I get that. And also 'cause I'm also not the friend sometimes when someone's like, "I just want you to listen." I'm like, "I can't."
Got you.
And that's why I think therapy is good because it's like it's an objective person. It's like sometimes your friends don't want to hear about your shitty
Right.
relationship issues because your friends have like a personal vent. Like I hate how some of my friends date. I don't want to hear about their romance, their sex lives. I find it disgusting. I like judge them for it. So it's like let's not ruin our friendship.
Yeah. 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 I get
Just
that.
keep that to yourself because not everyone's you can't use everyone for everything.
Right. I think one of the tools that I took away from my therapist that really helped kind of to talk about the tools that you got
Mhm.
was one thing she told me was you can never control how someone else feels.
Yes.
And for me, that was like me trying to convince my mom to be like on my side and just kind of get over everything, realizing actually I can't live my life worrying and stressing about my feelings and her feelings. You know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
can't be sitting here thinking if I do this, she's gonna feel that. No, no, no. I have to just do what makes sense to me and try to create a space where she can like everyone has to like have the tools to take care of themselves. You can't take care of other people for them, like the whole putting the mask on before you put it on your child or whatever. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's something I'm trying to do more of.
You're giving people, like, their agency, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like you're an adult, you can make your own decisions, and, like, you have all the information provided. If you feel like you've clarified enough, like, then it's like the cards will fall where they may.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of my favorite friends, I I remember I was so down bad one time, like, I was, like, first living alone and stuff, and I was feeling really lonely and whatever, and I called her, like, crying, and then I was, like, being like, "I feel like I don't wanna be here, blah, blah," and she's like, "Well, like, if you don't really feel like it, I mean, you could just do it." Like, we were both and it just started making me laugh because I was like, "Bitch, like, what the fuck? You're like, if you wanna kill yourself, go ahead." But it's like
That's nice to have permission.
it appeals to me in my narrative. I really do think that it's important to remember that again, it's like we do a lot of value judgments on things, and ultimately, depending on how like if I really feel that way. Like it is sad. Like it's okay to miss people, but it's also okay for someone to leave.
Yeah.
And like, let's say we're talking about a house party, but then make this house party life. It's like, if someone feels like they want to leave, maybe it's premature and maybe that was a mistake, but that's kind of on them and maybe it wasn't. And it's like, there's sadness in that, there's happiness in that, there's confusion in that, there's like all those things. But ultimately, it's like, it's someone's choice. But surrounding that, it's like, okay, people shouldn't be killing themselves because they're in poverty or because they can't find community. Like, there's, things that like very preventable. But
Heart.
like I think what's like if you're like 70 years old or whatever, and like you're like, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah.
Fuck it, you're done.
Yeah. Yeah. I resonate with a lot of that. Maybe I'll tweak it a little and say that I think we all need to be more like, I feel like people freak out about the idea of death. And I
Mhm.
think it's like being born and dying is like literally everyone's fate. You know what I mean? Like I
Yes.
I
It's like, okay, can I say can I think this I think is a really good analogy. It's like in schools when we used to have a lineup, everyone used to be like front fighting to be at the front of the lineup. And the teacher would be like, well, it doesn't matter, you're all going to the same place.
right.
And it's
Exactly.
very much like life. Like, like we're all going there,
We're all
so
going
why make it
there.
a big deal?
And also I think it should be a practice in everyone's life to start the mourning process ASAP. Like I think people the reason why they it freaks them out so much. Like, I can tell you my dad, for example, has reached the age where he's, like, realizing his mortality is inevitable, and
Mm.
he is so depressed. And it's like,
Aw.
"Wait, but you had, like, your whole life to process this." I've already like, I feel like I've processed my death. If it happened
Oh.
tomorrow, I'd be okay. You know, like
Near and
go ahead.
I would say, like, I feel like I don't know if I've processed my death, but on when I've been on the back of a motorcycle on a highway with no helmet, almost flying off the back, thinking you're gonna die, it's like, okay, number 1, I realized I don't wanna die, but number 2, I realized I kinda liked the thrill.
That is Bella coded. I hope you know that. Bella from
What is
Twilight.
Bella coded? No, no, no,
She
okay.
literally was on a motorcycle thinking about Edward, and that turned her on, like, being able to see him when she was in danger. She literally tried to kill herself to see him. What a stupid bitch. But anyway, I agree with you. I think once you realize you truly ask yourself, "Am I getting everything I want from life?" Because I think if you're scared of dying, it's because you haven't reconciled everything inside of you that you need to be assessing. You know what I mean? Like there are
Yeah.
things left unsaid or things you still want to do.
And as me, as an unfiltered person, nothing will ever I will die being like, "I
I've
told
said
every person I
everything.
hated, I hate
Uh,
you. I told every ugly bitch they were ugly. I told every hot bitch I thought they were hot. Every guy I wanted to try to fuck, I tried." Like,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. I feel
and
like
I'm so grateful.
yeah, I think it's very important to not be too stuck in the blueprint of society and forgetting who you are only to too late be like, "Oh shit, it's too late now." You know, like it's such a shame when somebody lives a whole life and they realize they actually lived none of it.
Yeah, and, that's really I mean, it's heartbreaking to think, like, I mean, I think of my parents like
That's
that
yeah,
too. But the also frustrating part is when these people are still alive and it's like, "Kate, like, the best time is now." Well, you the
right,
best time was yesterday, but the next best time is now, you know what I
right.
mean? So it's like, this is literally just like it's it seems so simple.
It really does.
Um,
It really
and
does.
you know what the thing is? I think also, like, understanding, like, what's not your burden. Like, I will never, like, the thing is, it's just being like, I will never understand certain things, and that's not my problem. And also, it's like, I will, I will never like people's opinions of me is like what I would like to be better at is like not taking on
Mm,
too much of what people think of, or like not trying to be nosy because I am nosy, and it's like I don't need to know what someone thinks about me.
mm.
I can things can be ambiguous, and I can be comfortable in that because that's not my business because it's also not my problem.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah, I get that. As long as if it's not directly affecting you.
Of course.
If
But then
it-
it's like I'm confrontational enough to bring something up, but
right,
if it's brought up and like I will dig. The thing is, I dig too far. So it's like
right.
at some point it's like you need to like be like, okay, you know what?
Yeah, yeah, I get
We're
that.
digging in the wrong spot.
Right. And I also want to preface again, I know we did a disclaimer in the beginning, but neither of us is perfect. We're not saying we're like the answer, we've figured out the
I'm not
answer to
perfect,
life.
but I love myself and I do
Yeah,
think I'm perfect for me.
right.
Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Everyone is different. Like
Yeah,
literally,
everyone is different. It's like you're perfect for you, and I don't
yeah,
give a shit if you don't think like I don't care.
absolutely.
It's like I want you to
Absolutely.
think you're perfect, but I'm not gonna help you feel
Right,
perfect.
and no one's experience can explain someone else's experience. Like that reel
Yes.
I literally just sent you a reel of a woman talking about her grieving her daughter. The
Yeah.
first thing she said when somebody asked her is like, "Can you tell me what it's like to lose a child?" She's like, "I can't tell you what it's like to lose a child, but I'll tell you what it was like for me to lose my child." I was like,
Mhm.
that is so important to make clear that everyone's experience is going to be different. There's no
Exactly.
one way to process something like that, you know? And
And
I
the thing is
think
that
yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
you have to go out and like it is you have to help yourself you have to help yourself, and what comes with that is like comes with a lot of privilege, and everyone has different circumstances and situations, but like so many things is like out of people's control and like no one really knows what's going on. So like while things are unfortunate, it's really like if you can't take control of your narrative, you're fucked because like not a lot of people can do things to help you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. To pivot a little, I'm curious, what are some mundane things in our life that's accepted that you view as self-harm? We've discussed long distance running. I
Yes.
think
Long distance running
that
is like
is
slitting your wrist,
it's
but it's
worse. It's like
societally
the blood violin, literally, because you're literally breaking and destroying your knees. You're getting an addiction that's kind of not healthy for you, and you look like a corpse. Like, I don't get the appeal whatsoever.
I think that okay, I think like forms of running can be enjoyable, but it's like, yeah, when you're running for like more than 10 miles, it's like you're running from yourself
Yes.
and
Like,
like
you're stressing me out. Like, the way that you're treating this run, oh my god, people that run every day, to me, that's such OCD behavior. I'm like,
that's crazy.
yeah, it means that, and the day that you don't run, it ruins your day. You know what I mean? Like, that to me, I'm like, there's something wrong. You need help.
Or like what about actually no, because it's like I need to walk every day. I like a light jog. It depends on like how brutal you're going on
Right.
your body.
Right. I mean, it's the same
But
with
I
like,
also think in the same thing, like any kind of gym bro, I think it's like a lot of people have EDs and don't know it.
oh
But
yeah,
it's just like
eating disorders galore. But I will say the thing about that, people there's a fine line between some people cannot count calories. Like some people, it turns into a pathology. Some people, it becomes obsessive, and I totally see it and understand that it's just not doable for them. The people that can do it because they don't actually, like, it's not gonna make or break their day. I think you have to not let it make or break you. Like if one day you like had a piece of cookie that like puts you above your macros or whatever, who gives a fuck? You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like
No,
it
exactly. It's
shouldn't like it should just be a guide for you to know around, like what you're supposed to
Mhm.
do if you're trying to achieve a certain goal. But it
Yes.
shouldn't become like a kind of like us growing up in Islam, like if you didn't pray 5 times a day, you're going to hell. Where it's like, oh shit, I prayed it wrong or I did something wrong, then you feel bad the whole day. And it's like you're never going to feel good about yourself because you're constantly like judging yourself in that way. And I think the same way happens in a lot of like gym mentality where people stop doing it for the fact that it's a way to release stress and anxiety and start thinking about it more as a way to
Punish themselves for
exactly,
like
exactly,
but that's what the DMT exactly helped me release was like, oh, my form of punishment is being so concerned with being better.
right.
It's like I was harassing myself.
Mm. But that's also because you grew up in an environment where you were probably told you're not good enough a lot. Because
I don't
that's
even think I wasn't even told I wasn't good enough. I think I just wasn't really like seen.
mm, I see.
Because the thing is, it's like I was doing stuff to try to impress my parents and being like, okay, bitch, like uh, I got first place. Like I know I'm good enough. I fucking won. Like you don't even care. And then it was kind of just like, oh, okay, you just like I think I always had the analogy in my mind that my parents treated me and my siblings like fine china, where it's
Mm,
like you just wanted us like we're there as a symbol to look nice, to do a thing, but there's no utility. You're not actually interested in this thing. And
yes.
ideally we would sit there and collect dust.
Yes, yes. The first 18 years of my life, everything I did was to get their validation. None of it was like to do what I actually wanted. So all my degrees, all my like my education was all for them. And it wasn't until I came to the States that I started doing things for me that I realized it feels really nice when you're just doing things that make you happy and make you proud of yourself, as opposed to like putting on a mask or doing something that you know other people will approve of.
Exactly, and that's why in, like, terms of when, like, people are upset, I always say it's like, "You're not upset at me, like, you're projecting something else," and
Yes.
I take that for myself. When I'm upset at
Mm,
something, it's like I'm projecting something from inside, and it's not
mm,
about the other person. So, it's, like, really, like that's the kind of I think the ultimate struggle of mental health is, like, depersonalizing things and value judgment things where it's like you don't have to just because something is bad doesn't mean you have like nothing is good or bad, it just is.
right.
And every people like find pleasure and pain. Some people don't, but it's like you I don't know, everything can be worked towards ultimately. So
Yes, yes, I absolutely agree. Absolutely. Uh, should we wrap up the episode, do you think? Because it's an hour. I'm looking at
yeah,
the time. And I think we covered a lot of good
I
different
think so
bases. Is
too.
there anything left that you feel like you wanted to talk about for this mental thing? I did want to share media moment, like just quickly
Yeah, let's
from
end off.
yeah, so media moment this week. Lella Fadda, she's an Egyptian rapper. Her new album Magnoon, 10 out of 10.
Have
I
you
just
always been on female Arabic rap?
yes, female
Okay.
Arabic rap is
Can you
so
show
good.
this? Show your phone to the screen so
Oh,
people
it's
see.
the it's just my notes. I have the
Oh
you can pause it if you want. But
no,
then
I actually did that for the Twilight episode for the concert you
oh
were talking
nice.
about,
Nice,
and I like
nice,
had to because I typed the name, so it
nice.
was
And
helpful.
then this is so basic, but honestly, I am such an Addison Rae stan. Are you familiar?
Yeah,
I am such a stan. Her like her pop star era is so iconic, even though it's very Americana and like the but the concepts, the visuals, like her new song High Fashion. Wow, so good.
I'll
Last
check
one,
it out.
check it out.
She doesn't impress me though. I want to take this opportunity to diss
Yeah,
Addison Rae and be like, I
check
think
out her music
okay,
videos. Her music
okay,
video game is 10 out of 10. And then last one, there's this artist Oklu, her album Choke Enough. Those are my
period.
yours.
Um, I don't have music, but I got this really. I'm excited to dive into this book my friend sent me.
El Ghuraba. Oh, that's the crow, right?
Yes, it's a queer trans like Middle Eastern anthology. I like did a skimming of it.
Hmm.
And it looks really good. There was a different one. I don't want to say it because I'm gonna diss it, and I don't want to diss queer
Yeah,
out of
yeah.
literature. But I thought it was. I
You
was like,
can cut it
I
out.
like.
What's it
I
called?
was like the essays were shit. I thought I
Oh,
didn't
I
really
read
care
it.
for.
I read it.
I I'm like, oh, maybe I'm gonna do a submission for their like new thing
Yeah.
if I have anything to say. I don't know if I have anything to say right now, but I didn't really care. I bought the book and I'm like, well, I don't really care about what's in here.
All of it?
I
Because
didn't
they
really
were
like
all
any of
very
it.
different.
None of the experience. I didn't feel seen in the experiences.
That's fair. I think it's because none of them were American, right? Like it
Yeah, I
was
think it was
all
mostly people who are
in the
born in the
Middle
Middle
East. Yeah,
East,
which is
and
a
that's
very
it
different
was just like
experience.
I don't get that.
Yeah, fair,
None of
fair,
my business.
fair. Which is kind
Someone needs to be the annoying. I need maybe that'll be my submission for the next one. I'll do it a diaspora take.
right. But then that's what this is for as well, like the all of people, so that you can have a place where you can share what it's like being in the diaspora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, on that note, thank you guys for
Signing out.
watching. Subscribe, like, comment, etc. Share, and thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.